The day the fires hit, I wasn't here. Packed up and left on the Monday afternoon, and the fires hit on the Tuesday. I got a message on my phone for residents of Ewingar to seek shelter. And I tried to contact people, neighbours, and couldn't get through, and didn't find out till about 8:30 that night that everything was gone. For me, it was like losing your loved one, losing your partner, sort of thing. You know, you sort of go away for a few days for work and then come back and everything's gone and just burnt, charred remains everywhere. It was just looking at an apocalypse. So when it happened, I hit rock bottom, and there's only two ways you can sort of go when you hit that far down. You know, you can go 6 foot under, or you can come back up again. So you just sort of try and get back on top of things and make do.
I was inspired by the chandelier of the Lost and Broken, which was done down at Ngueda, and then I pulled together a series of creative arts recovery workshops for Ewingar, but I wasn't sure if men would come. And so I rang Steve Carrick from Rural Adversity Mental Health Program and told him, you know, what I was on about, and he said to me, "There's this guy, John Schumann, I know."
We rolled out a whiteboard and got some whiteboard markers, some cups of tea, and away we went. I just got them to throw up their experiences, their reflections, their thoughts. And we whacked them up on the whiteboard and then played with them a bit and moved it around and ended up with what I think is a halfway reasonable song, Long Gully Road.
Morning light filtered through haze of smoke and ash. You can hear the country crying, you can hear the gum trees crash. Birds have fallen silent, and the land is bleak and still. From Ewingar to the Bulldog Rock, from the Clarence to the hills.
Talking about what happened without realising you're talking about what happened. There was around 15 other blokes there, getting a perspective of what other people went through. You get to a point where you think, my day must have been worse than anybody else's, but till you hear somebody's view of what they went through, you think, nah, my day was fine.
I think there was a couple of fellas in that group who probably didn't even recognise that they could benefit from having a chat with someone. And they thought that maybe the help wasn't available or that they didn't need help. But by the end of the weekend, you know, they've reached out and actually sat down and had a bit of a yarn and explored their emotions which were associated with that bushfire. And I think that's a very useful and therapeutic way of dealing with the trauma of going through something that many of those fellas considered was life-threatening.
It was a life-changing event for me. Like punching a hole in a plaster board wall and opened something for me to release a lot of built-up disappointment, anguish and sadness.
There were some tears and some shaky voices and some hard swallowing as we recalled what went on and constructed it into a song.
There was nowhere we could run to, there was nowhere we could go. We were calling Ebert 432 from Long Gully Road.
I truly believe that this song will move the whole nation. I would challenge anyone to find a quiet moment, put your headphones on, turn the volume up and listen, truly actively listen to this song and not be moved by it.
I've been saying to a lot of my colleagues and friends and family that what I observed out there on that weekend in Ewingar was probably one of the most effective recovery things I've ever seen in my career.
The thing that frustrates me sometimes is that that you know, the powers that be, the bureaucrats, the politicians, the departmental heads, you know, they talk a lot about bushfire recovery, but they don't actually think about how important a creative, artistic process can be in that recovery. That's disappointing. It's always been disappointing for me, and I'm hoping that this time what those blokes from Ewingar produced will demonstrate to the rest of Australia that creative recovery, creative-led recovery is as valid as having a talk in a darkened room to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counsellor.
I think that having a pilot project that can be rolled out, this has proven that it benefits people in their healing process. And if people don't have to go asking for this and asking for funds for it, if it's something that can be offered.
I would like to think that people will listen to Long Gully Road and, like they did when they heard I was only 19 for the first time, get some idea of what it was like to be those people at that time in that place.
And the country moves from black to green, the rocky river flows. I'm driving through the healing down Long Gully Road.
It's been 2 years since our community was hit by the Long Gully fire. And all around us, it's like the bush is articulating that slow process of recovery. We've got lots of black and we've got lots of green. And that's what we've seen happen over those 2 years.